2030. And we were extremely excited. And you gave us a lot of energy. And we came out looking very optimistic. When I heard you speak today, I could still feel the same energy, Your Excellency. However, as a manufacturing sector, if we fast forward from that time to now, 8 months, there is pessimism. There is pessimism, yet there is hope. There's also hope for the future. So I just want to kind of highlight, as Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and I will, Your Excellency, also touch on housing levy, housing fund. I can assure you as CAM, we are not against it, but let me leave that to the last. So Your Excellency, when you get challenged us with that, and that 20 by 30, we went and sat as a board and looked at what are the main 4 pillars which is going to drive this. And the 4 pillars we came out with was global competitiveness, export-led growth, agriculture for industry, and SME development. And I'm going to touch on probably 3 of them today in a way. Early this week, I also had the opportunity to listen to you at the Africa Continental Free Trade, the summit, the Africa Investment Summit. And I saw the passion with which you talked about Africa Continental Free Trade and how we need to open up Africa, how we need to open up to a trade within Africa, which is right now at about 15%, and we need to go much higher like what many other trading blocs are going. However, Your Excellency, to do that, we need to be globally competitive. We no longer can talk about just our local competitiveness. And we have been doing a lot of soul searching at CAM to see where this global competitiveness is going to come from. I'm going to raise 2 particular areas of concern. Today is not a day that we are complaining, but why we feel that global competitiveness is eroding for manufacturers in Kenya. And I'll give a couple of examples. And I'll relate to our current finance bill. We have introduced a levy, the Export and Investment Promotion Levy. We fully understand the rationale behind why the levy has been put in. Yet, we feel that this is a kind of a tariff which is going to hurt manufacturing. And let me just kind of quickly give you the genesis of how industrialization in Kenya has happened. When industrialization started post-independence, we could only get into conversion industries. Industries downstream where we are converting certain intermediate products into finished products. And over the last 3 to 4 decades, we have gotten strong in that sector of the industry. Now the time has come for us to backward integrate into doing primary production so that the primary producers can also supply to these converters. And for sure, as CAM, we support that whole value addition process. However, we need to still keep whatever we have grown in the last 3-4 decades, because these industries in the conversion have also become competitive and are also exporting. And if we increase their raw material cost, which is their raw material cost, it's going to become uncompetitive for them and it will erode their competitiveness. Yet, at the same time, we can find ways how we can ensure that the primary producers who are making huge investments can still be supported to become competitive so that they are also, and I'll give you examples of the steel, cement industry, we're talking about the clinker, the industry that we were together, Your Excellency, when we opened the plant of Devki in Samburu, making billets, one of the first of the kind. And we have to be highly applaud investors who are coming with those huge investments. However, how do we work with them and have more targeted interventions to be able to make them globally competitive so that they can not only have to just sell in Kenya, but they can sell in the whole of the rest of Africa. And towards that end, we are happy to work together to be able to support that, rather than to bring in levies which is going to hurt the entire industry and will also erode our global competitiveness. So, Your Excellency, that was one area. The second one, which is not connected to the finance bill, is our other big factor of production, which is wages. We understand how we need to create employment. We need to, definitely we have a big job. We are talking about 5 million youth that need to be employed. And to do that, we need to think a little bit differently. We need to look at our labor laws. We need to change with times, Your Excellency. The world is changing where now there are mothers who want to work from home. There are also mothers who only want to work part-time. And yet our laws are inflexible and do not allow those kind of working methodologies. And more importantly, Your Excellency, we need to bring productivity-based pay. By doing productivity-based pay, we are going to probably put more money in the pockets of our employees than how we are doing right now. We are also going to become more globally competitive through productivity-based. And as the private sector, we are willing to work with the government to find solutions around that. I want to touch on one more thing. I'm sorry I'm taking a bit of time. Kenya Association of Manufacturers has also on the pillar of agriculture for industry. I was so glad to hear today the governors talking here about how they want to kind of add in this whole value chain. We just started this initiative last month. And Your Excellency, what we are doing, 1/3 of our membership is made up of the food and beverage sector. Their raw material is the food crops which are being produced in each of these counties. We are calling them sector by sector. There are 34 value chains we are looking at. And we are looking at their demand and how they need their demand, what varieties of the raw material they need, what price they can pay, and what consistency of supply. And now we want to work backwards. And I already spoke with Governor Waiguru that we want to work with all the counties and see how we can link together. We are also working with banks to see how we can organize our producers to be able to kind of finance the production. So I'm very excited. In fact, I personally am in the value chain of pulses as well, all grains. I was sad to hear from 2 of our governors, they cannot sell their pulses. And yet, the problem I have as a manufacturer, I can't get enough of it. And I paid the highest price last year, and still I could not get enough. So, Your Excellency, there is a disconnect. And as private sector, we need to see how to connect the dots here. Lastly, Your Excellency, around the housing levy, I can assure you that as CAM, we are not against the whole concept. In fact, the whole concept of saving is something, the culture of saving is something very important. This is what Singapore did at a saving culture of 45%. That is how they grew their economy. And I think the saving culture is extremely important. Where, Your Excellency, and I will honestly be candid, where private sector, when they interrogated this, we felt that there were questions being asked. We have seen in the past various other projects which have sometimes gone to waste or issues of governance of the funds. And these were questions being asked by our private sector. We also want to, our own members are hurting right now in business. So they are saying, can we afford it right now or can we go progressively? So Your Excellency, I can assure you, we are not against. We can sit, we can talk, and we can find solutions, and we can progressively build this so that we can also prove the concept and at the same time work together, because no one can be a better beneficiary than the manufacturing sector through all the construction material. Thank you, sir, and let's keep on engaging.